to show you all. Before I implemented this strategy, I'm like embarrassed to show you all this content, but I think it's important for you to see where I started versus like where the content is now. And I'm showing you different iterations of it as well. Welcome to the Chingona Revolution podcast, where we will bring out your inner badass Latina, overcome self-doubt, help you gain clarity, and pave your own path, all while leading with courage. I am your host, Latina coach and speaker, Erica Cruz. Hello, friends. Welcome to this week's episode of Chingona Revolution podcast. In this episode, I am going to be sharing the replay of the training that I hosted on March 9th, all about how I manifested my first 10,000 followers. If you have attended any of my trainings in the past, I guarantee this is a very different training than any of them that I have done. This one is actually pretty strategy heavy. I do go over 3 key strategies that supported me as well as some of my clients in monetizing their personal brand and creating a purposeful but also profitable personal brand. So if you have had the desire to build your brand and do it in a way where it's profitable, but it's also giving back, then this training is for you. At the end of the training, I do talk about my program, Courage Driven Latina, and the doors are currently open, but they will not be open for a long time. So if this training resonates with you, I invite you to join us inside of Courage Driven Latina. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to how I manifested my first 10,000 followers by building my personal brand. My name is Erica Cruz, and I am going to take you through today's training. If you have any questions throughout the training, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll be sure to check the chat occasionally. And then at the end, we're going to have dedicated time for Q&A. This training is completely free. It is sponsored by my program, Courage Driven Latina. You'll learn more about it at the end of the training, and I will let you know whenever the training portion is done. But I did get a few DMs and people asking me about joining Courage Driven Latina. So you will have an opportunity at the end. But for now, let's get into the training. You're in the right place if you are the purpose-ready professional. So maybe you have a skill from your career or maybe your lived experience, something like wellness, leadership, career strategy, or finance, and your life looks successful, but you know that you're meant to build something of your own. But you don't really know how to turn that expertise into a personal brand or a business. So think maybe people who are recruiters and want to start a career coaching business, or individuals that have had a big lived experience and they're like, damn, I know other people are going through this as well, and I've already gone through it. I want to support other people because it took me so long to learn what I learned, and now I want to make sure I can help other people. So that would be the first category of individuals. The second would be the passionate creator. So this is something maybe like you have a passion that you can talk about for hours, maybe personal growth, relationships, wellness, money, or confidence, and people that are around you come to you for this. So I can think of Kelsey, who's on here, with when I think of her travel advisory and just like planning trips and things like that, where it really started as this passion and then it evolved into a skill, and now people come to her so that she can plan trips for them. So you know that you can build a brand around it, but maybe you're not sure how to turn that passion into something that people would actually pay for. And last but not least, maybe you already started the business, but you either don't have any clients yet, or you are relying on referrals, and you know that you are underutilizing social media because you're not really sure how to show up. And when you do, it doesn't really lead to sales. So those are the 3 categories. Oh, and then hi, Melissa from New Jersey. Heard you speak at We All Grow and loved every single word you shared. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that was such an amazing conference. So what I'm going to do now is I have a little poll. I want to know where you fit in. All right, there we go. You should see this now. So I want to know which one you are. Are you the purpose-ready professional, the passionate creator, or the CEO in hiding? Which one most resonates with who you are? Pretty split so far. Oh, a lot of people are in the first category. Yep, a lot of you already have a skill or a lived experience that you're looking to now help other people with. I added the CEO in hiding at the end. Like last minute, I had a feeling a lot of you would be here because that's where I was for a long time. All right, cool. This is really helpful for me because it shows me who's here so that way I can talk about examples that are relevant to all of you. So, more about who you are, whether you fit into one of those or maybe a few of those, you understand the power of a personal brand, but maybe you don't know how to build one that both makes an impact and also income. So it's not even just about making money, it's also about doing something more meaningful and creating impact. You maybe already post about your life on social media. Maybe you don't have a problem posting your travel photos or maybe stuff about your kids, but it's not really turning into clients, income, or opportunities. Or you already have a skill, as we mentioned earlier, from your career or everyday life, like leadership, career strategy, wellness, budgeting, and you're ready to build something that belongs to you, or you have that passion you can talk about for hours, or maybe you've been through something transformative, like Eileen has. You'll learn more about her later, and you feel called to help others through that same journey, but you have no idea how to turn that into a business. So you're like, yeah, I can help people all day, right? People come to me all the time, but how do I actually turn this into a business that I can monetize? And what you want is you want to build a purposeful and profitable personal brand. That is what you all desire here. That's why you're here. It's not really even just about a follower count. It's not even about your ego. It's really about doing something that feels more purposeful, but also gives you the freedom and the time flexibility to do the things that you want to do. So, what that looks like is you want to have something of your own so you don't have to solely rely on your 9 to 5, especially with the rise of AI where jobs are not secure, right? There's so many different layoffs that are going on. You want to be able to have something that makes you be able to walk away from a job if it no longer serves you, or if you were laid off, you want to have another source of income. You maybe want to create content that serves your community and you want to be able to get DMs that say, "Hey, thank you so much for this video. You described exactly what I was going through and I haven't been able to put that into words." So again, it's not even just about the profit, it's also about the impact. You want to open your inbox and see a payment notification from monetizing your personal brand, maybe from a client, from selling an intensive, from selling a service, anything like that. And you want to feel fulfilled knowing that you're building a profitable brand and that this is making a positive impact on your community. But at the end of the day, you want more freedom, more time freedom, and peace, knowing that you are doing what feels fulfilling and it gives you choices, just like the rest of my clients. Okay, so we've helped our clients manifest a profitable and personal brand in less than 90 days. And I have some examples here. All right, so these are some of my clients. Sarah, she just posted this a couple of days ago. I made a sale this week. I'm helping a client launch a new podcast, and I'm really excited about it. You're also going to learn more about Sarah later. Claudia here is talking about her Instagram reach at 17,000. Evie says, I found 2 people who found my podcast and inquired about my coaching. This client landed her first speaking engagement because of her personal brand, because she was showing up and creating content. Kay is actually my kickboxing coach, and she really wanted to kick off her kickboxing business. And when she joined the program, she not only booked out her, actually, you're going to learn more about her later, but these are just wins directly shared from my clients. So here is, she's talking about how she's surpassing her last year's gross revenue and broke 500,000. So they're definitely monetizing and making impact and becoming more visible. So, who am I? My name is Erica Cruz. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and I'm a podcast host. I've supported over 300 clients. We actually need to update that number. It has to be like 330 clients in reaching their life and business goals and helping them build a personal brand that's profitable, that's purposeful, that's impactful. And you are going to learn more about my story later on. So we will come back to that in a second. Let's come back to you for now. So what you want is you want to build a profitable personal brand. But why is that not happening? Because we all know what we want. You're very clear on what you want. It's why you're all here. But what stops you from creating a profitable personal brand? And this is that you believe that you can't monetize yet until you have something like 10,000 followers. So you think you need the 10,000 followers before you can monetize your personal brand. It's a common belief that I had as well, and it's probably where you find yourself today. But what you really need is you need to monetize your personal brand on your journey to 10,000 followers because you are going to manifest the followers, not only the 10,000 followers, but also the first $10,000 because you're creating content. And I'm going to explain this a little bit more. So let's talk about a manifestation myth. We've got the word manifestation in the title, and I would be doing you a disservice if we didn't embed some manifestation in all this, especially because of the rest of the training is pretty strategic. So there is a myth that when we are manifesting, we just have to set the goal and then the goal is magically going to arrive. It's just going to show up on your doorstep. It's just kind of going to happen. And there's this idea, like even on social media, right? It's like, oh, she's woo woo or they're woo woo. And it's just people just kind of like sitting there meditating and like not really doing anything. But the reality around manifestation is that when you want to create something, you set the goal, you're really clear on what you want. And then you do the inner work to feel worthy of the goal. And then you take action towards the goal. And I'm going to give you some examples from some celebrities that we all know. And then I'm going to ground it and give you some examples from the average person, like myself, like my clients. So this is the kind of formula for manifestation. First, you declare, you decide, okay, I'm going to grow my personal brand. I'm going to find more options than just the current job I have right now. So first, you literally have to decide, you have to declare. And then you have to embody it. What do I mean by embody it? We're not going to spend too much time on this, but let's say you say, okay, I'm going to go build my personal brand, but yet you can't embody it. What I mean is you don't feel worthy of showing up. You don't believe you have anything to say. You literally want to hide. You don't feel like it's possible for you. You feel ashamed whenever somebody gives you a compliment on your content. So that is going to block your manifestation. So what we want to do is we want to declare the thing we want. And then we want to work on feeling worthy of it. We want to embody it. Like, what would the version of me do who already had a profitable personal brand? And then from that place, that is where we take action. And that leads to the manifestation. Make sense? We went a little deeper here, but I think you can all handle it. Of course, I have to start with Bad Bunny. So in 2016, Bad Bunny was bagging groceries, hoping to make it in the music world. But it wasn't like he was hoping to make it in the music world and he just bagged groceries and didn't ever let anybody hear him sing. No, he decided that he wanted what he wanted, bagged groceries to pay the bills. And then what he did is he was bagging groceries during the day, and in the evenings or on his days off, he uploaded his imperfect music onto SoundCloud. Today, he's the most streamed artist in the world. He was the headliner of the Super Bowl. He won multiple Grammys. He was the most streamed artist on Spotify. So this shows he decided what he wanted. He declared he wanted to make it in the music industry. He worked on feeling worthy of it. And I'm sure he had some self-doubt, right? This isn't saying you can't have any self-doubt, but he embodied what he wanted to become and then took action. He practiced his music. He got better. He wrote songs. He published them. And now he's one of the most celebrated artists in the world. And then we've got somebody like Demi Lovato. In 2010, she tweeted that one day she was going to sing the national anthem at a Super Bowl. And a decade later, her tweet did come true when she sang the national anthem at Super Bowl 54. But it wasn't like in 2010, she said, hey, I want to sing at a national anthem at the Super Bowl, and then never sang again in her life. She was taking the action. She was showing up to do it. Jim Carrey, this is one of my favorites. He wrote himself a check for $10 million at the height of his struggle and dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And at this moment, Jim Carrey was living in his car in LA. And it wasn't like he wrote himself this check and then never went to an audition. Jim Carrey wrote himself this check and he went to all of the auditions, probably was rejected so many times. And then just before Thanksgiving night of 1995, he discovered that he was on track to make that exact amount of money of $10 million on Dumb and Dumber. I get chills every time I like remember this story because he really went out, wrote himself this check so he could visualize it. But again, it wasn't like he wrote the check, put it away, and didn't show anyone or didn't talk about it ever or didn't take any action. And somebody just knocked on his door and offered him a $10 million check. He put himself out there. And last example is Zendaya in 2012. She tweeted that one day she was going to be on the cover of 17 magazine. And after 4 years, she did make it on the cover. But it wasn't like she wasn't showing up to auditions. She was working on her visibility. She was working on her personal brand. Obviously, for celebrities, their personal brand is a little different, right? But now we all have the option to build our personal brand. So I'm sharing these examples to share that these people didn't wait until the goal they had came into reality. They decided on the goal, they took action towards the goal, and then the goal was formed a reality. And probably after like some mess ups. I don't know if you all remember this, but Demi Lovato almost overdosed. If it wasn't for her bodyguard finding her and taking her to the hospital, and this was after 2010. So it's not like this whole ride was super smooth. Even for Bad Bunny, I'm sure he had his up and down moments. And with Jim Carrey living in his car to then making $10 million, insane. So here's what happens when you don't wait to monetize and you begin to monetize your personal brand on your journey to $10,000. You overcome the fear of being seen and you post without overthinking for hours. And trust me, I know what it's like to be afraid of being seen. I know what it's like to being like, I don't know exactly what to post. We're going to cover that today. You'll also get DMs from people who tell you that your content changed their life, which of course is one of the best feelings ever. And it makes you want to keep showing up, want to keep providing value. People will ask you how they can work with you. You'll get your first payment notification from an offer that you created around something you already know. I'll never forget the moment that happened for me. I still remember who it is and everything. Her name is Ruby. You're going to grow your following, your impact, and your income. And the thing is, I want you all to know you can't wait to make money online. Like you shouldn't wait. Don't wait. Why wait? You can do this now, but the way you do it is through building your personal brand. And here's how I was able to do it. So as I mentioned, I was going to tell you more about my story, and let's get into it right now. So I'm a Latina coach and speaker. I'm a daughter of Mexican immigrants. I left a 6-figure tech job to build a 7-figure business. Since then, I've had some crazy cool things happen. I've worked with like Harvard. I've worked with Burt's Bees, all these really cool companies. I've landed $16,000 speaking engagements and supported well over 300 coaching clients. But this is like my little resume and my highlights. Not always the case. So let's take it back. In 2019, I had a goal to leave my tech job because I wanted to do more meaningful work and I wanted time freedom. I wanted money freedom. I didn't have to ask for time off. I wanted to do something that felt more fulfilling to me. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how to start my own business and I was terrified of being seen. And I remember I thought for 2 years about wanting to do something. And it took me 2 years. And then I finally started a food blog. And once I started, I spent my free time dreaming, waiting for like this dream opportunity to fall in my lap. So remember, we were just talking about what it's really like to manifest and how it's not about setting the intention and then just having it come to you. It's about setting the goal, setting the intention, working on feeling worthy of it, but also taking action. Yep, didn't do that. I was like waiting until I was like, okay, something's just going to happen, I guess. And then that'll let me know I'm worthy enough. And it's like, no, no, no. No dream is going, no goal is going to come knocking on your door. You have to literally build the goal. You have to create it. So, of course, me waiting for that dream opportunity to land in my lap never happened. And in the meantime, I was spending so much time just following other successful food bloggers and comparing myself. I was waiting for that opportunity to magically manifest. And I never made $1 from the food blog. I had a few people send me like free shit, but that doesn't count, right? It's like you can't pay your rent with like chips and salsa. And I wasn't even like sharing that I was Latina yet, but I was just getting this free salsa and chips. And it was like the siete chips, which are actually really good. And now they're sold at Whole Foods. And this was back in the day when like they weren't even a big company yet. So at least that was kind of cool. But anyway, I really started to believe that I was not talented and that nobody cared and I could never leave tech. I really was like, I should just be grateful. I have so much more than my parents did. Why is it that I want more? And I was so close to giving up until I really started learning about personal branding and I started to build my personal brand. When I started building my personal brand, that is when everything changed. I was reached out to by the New York Times, and because I quit my job and they wanted to do an article on me quitting my job. This is my great friend Kat. I brought her along with me. We did not know we were going to be on the cover of the New York Times business page, but we were. I ended up starting my coaching business. I launched my podcast. I got to interview celebrities like Luis Fonsi on TikTok. Uh, worked with Harvard, as I mentioned earlier. I've been interviewed on the news many times. Most importantly, right, all this stuff sounds cool, but the biggest flex around building my personal brand was that I was doing meaningful work. Like I actually really liked what I was doing. And this is what helped me building my personal brand intentionally. And it's what I help my clients do as well to get results. And not to be dramatic, but building your brand will completely change your life. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what you want to do, think about how much time each of us spends on our phone. So for you to create intentional content that serves people can only bring opportunities your way. So you might be thinking, okay, Erica, this worked for you and for the celebrities that you showed us before, but is it going to work for me? And here's some examples from clients of mine that I've supported in manifesting profitable personal brands. That's a mouthful. Profitable personal brands in 90 days. And this is what happens whenever you do build your personal brand. So Kay went from thinking about starting a business for 10 years to completely booking out in 90 days. Yaz decided to do wellness coaching and she had a paid client within 2 weeks. It was so fast. She was like, I think I want to start a business. I was like, wellness coaching. She's a certified yoga instructor. Elsa got her first coaching inquiry within 24 hours after announcing she was coaching. I think she might be here. I saw an Elsa joined. I'm not sure if that's Elsa, my client. And then my client Anai went from being terrified of being seen to launching her podcast and steadily growing her audience. And they all manifested personal brands on their way to 10,000 followers. None of these people even have 10,000 followers just yet. So you may be thinking, okay, a personal brand works for them, Erica, but what if they were just interesting people? Is this going to work for me? Yes, and you simply need to learn the framework. I mentioned that this training was going to be pretty heavy on the strategy piece, and that's what we're going to get into today. I even have some examples of content to show you all. But before we jump into the strategies, I want to do a quick check-in. I know we have a lot of people that have joined. Don't worry, this is being recorded, but let's do a quick recap. So what you want to manifest a profitable personal brand that also creates impact. What's stopping you is you have a belief that okay, I need the 10,000 followers before I can make any money or before I can really create any impact. But the solution is that in order for you to monetize your personal brand, you literally have to start. So you have to start the monetization process on your journey to 10,000. And you're going to manifest the 10,000 followers, the first $10,000 in your business, in your side hustle or full-time business, because you are creating content. How? Through building your personal brand. So let's get into the strategies. And before I do that, if this is resonating with you all, please just let me know by writing a 3 in the chat. If you're like, yep, this is exactly what I needed to hear. Okay, cool. Yay, great. Okay, how to manifest a profitable personal brand, and then what I did as well. So this is my playbook from how I did this, but also how I have tested this through many clients over and over. So the first strategy is that you need a purposeful and profitable niche. A niche is who you're helping and how you are helping them. So before you build a personal brand, you need clarity on what you are here to share, or else you are going to be confused. Your audience is going to be confused. This is where the thought of, I don't know what to post comes from. And manifesting your personal brand isn't about pulling a niche out of thin air. It's really about realizing you are the niche. And the way I help you identify your niche is from one of these three places. It's from a skill you're already using in your career, a passion that you could talk about for hours, a lived experience that transformed your life, or a combination of those. So if I think about, for me, my passion was self-development. My lived experience was that I went from this completely insecure individual to this confident woman in an industry where there wasn't a lot of women. I worked at startups. There definitely wasn't any brown women, right? So I'm like sitting here working with all these engineers. I mean, they were brown, but they were not my kind of brown. So, and I worked in Silicon Valley. So you can imagine just like feeling very out of my element. Like I was embarrassed to speak Spanish, all the different things, to having total clarity on my purpose and what I wanted to do. And I took that lived experience, and that's when I started my coaching business. And it was all about helping people find their purpose. And then a skill that I have from just my time in tech is this stuff actually comes pretty easy to me. Making slides comes easy to me. My clients will tell you I have all these tools. I have this like custom AI stuff to help my clients with creating content with all these different things. And that was me taking my skill from my career. So for you, it could be a mixture of all these different things, or it could be one. So before coming up with your niche, before deciding on your niche, before declaring your niche, you're going to feel scattered and unclear. You're not going to know what to post. You will keep rewriting your bio and changing your ideas. Your content will only get engagement from friends and family, or that like random person in another country, which we love those people. Thank you for, cheering us on. Or you are going to be unsure, and you're going to be unsure of what in the world you would even sell. Your audience count really isn't growing. Unless you meet somebody in real life, then maybe they'll follow you, but it's not like you're constantly growing or anything like that. After you implement the purpose and profitable niche, or you could call it niche, whatever you want. It's a French word. People have thoughts. I really don't care. Niche. After you implement, your personal brand finally has direction. And you know exactly who you are here to help and how you are going to help them. Your content then will attract the right audience instead of random bots. And your profile positions you as this guide, or as this expert, or as like, the best friend that's helping people navigate the journey with them. And that's when people will start reaching out, asking how they can work with you. Clarity on your niche turns your content from random posts into a personal brand that will actually attract the right people. Again, this is about who you help and how you help them, having a ton of clarity on that. So meet Janet, also known as Flaca for her activism purposes. She, before working together, she worked in HR, and she already had the skills in career coaching, interview skills, interview preparation, resume review, all of those different skills. Once we identified her niche, helping women navigate their careers, that's when she was able to launch her career coaching business. And she started sharing content on Instagram. And now she's building her brand while helping women gain confidence in their careers. She does many things. She's also a mom of two. She runs a nonprofit, and having her career coaching business is almost like whenever things are getting really busy or things are getting really tight, and she's like, okay, wait, I need more income. I need more revenue. She goes to her career coaching business, and it's an additional source of income for her that she gets to decide when she works with people, who she works with, and all of that. Another example is Diana. So Diana was not a financial advisor or a certified expert. She did not work in the stock market. She simply had a really deep passion for personal finance. She didn't come from a lot of money, but she did spend a lot of years learning how to manage her own money. So when she started sharing what she was learning about budgeting, saving, and financial confidence, that is when she was able to take that passion and turn it into a money coaching business. Now she helps other women take control of their finances, helping them with budgeting, with and making sure they have their investment accounts, understanding what an emergency fund is, all of that, and essentially empowering women with their money. And her handle, by the way, I've added people's handles here at the bottom: HR Mommy and Amigas y Dinero. So she actually shares great content. I highly recommend following her. And then Eileen, who's here. Eileen, I didn't know if you changed your Instagram username, so I didn't include it in here because I wasn't sure if it was changed. So if you want to type it in the chat, I'm glad you're here. So Eileen has such a beautiful story. And if I got anything wrong on here, feel free to correct me. But Eileen is actually a breast cancer survivor who spent her life being the one that everybody in the family relied on. She was the eldest daughter in an immigrant family, a director at the job she worked at, and she was a mother of five. Shoot, it's five. I just talked to her about this yesterday. I don't know where I got the four kids from. She has five kids. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, she had to face something completely new, and that was learning to ask for help and navigate the emotional weight of illness. And happy to report that a couple of years after her diagnosis, she was in remission. She's clear. But now what she's doing is she's building a personal brand where she supports other women, specifically Latinas, diagnosed with cancer or with any type of illness, to help them navigate the emotional challenges and the identity shifts that come with the journey. So you can imagine, from being the individual who's constantly taking care of her five kids needs, to running multiple different areas within her company, within the agency that she worked at, and also being the eldest daughter of an immigrant family. I mean, she was constantly pulled in all these different directions. And what she learned was that she never knew how to ask for help. And it took her getting cancer and being in chemo and really not even being able. Actually, check out her page, because she just, let me quickly pull that up. Let's see if I could pull it up. She just posted a post of her journey, and it's such a good post that if you are all interested, I feel like it does a better job than what I'm doing right now for Eileen, her story. And this is an example. We actually did this during her personal branding intensive. This is an example of the kind of content that helps you build a personal brand. So let me share that post with all of you. Copy link, come back over here. How are we all doing? Let me know if you have any questions. You can type them in the chat. We're almost through the training portion. All right, that is the post I highly recommend you all check out. So now let me share. Okay, the second strategy is creating aligned content. So once you have an idea of who you help and how you help them, the next step is creating content that attracts the right people, not those random bots I was talking about earlier. Aligned content is content that speaks directly to your audience's struggles, your unique perspective and insights. So if you have like an unpopular opinion, or the transformation that you help people achieve, maybe you've helped yourself with it, or you've helped clients with it, or friends and family. And when your content is aligned, it becomes a magnet for the right followers, opportunities, and future clients. Before having aligned content, you worry about being judged or seen by the wrong people. Your content feels confusing and maybe inconsistent. You don't really know what to post, and then you run out of ideas quickly, and your posts attract those random followers. After you implement this, your content becomes intentional, powerful, and the post I just shared from Eileen's journey is an example of aligned content. It's a perfect example of it. I could have probably used her as an example for all the different strategies, but I was like, okay, we'll put her in one. And after your content speaks directly to the right audience, your confidence showing up online just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then followers will start engaging with things like, oh, I really needed to hear this, or thank you for sharing this, or you've described something that it's been so hard for me to put into words. And some examples from, this is not purpose and profitable niche. It is creating aligned content. So just pretend that says something else. I initially had her as the first example, and then I moved people around. So Sarah, who you see here, used to rely on reaching out to people to find clients for her podcast production business. And after adjusting her content strategy to make it more aligned, her posts actually began to clearly explain who she helps and what she offers and what sets her apart. And now people message her after seeing her content asking how they can work with her. So now she's getting sales calls booked. People are reaching out to her, while before she had to do that not fun work of sliding into people's DMs, finding their email, asking them if they're looking for a podcast producer. And within 90 days of working together, her business generated $3,500 in revenue. So this is an example for those of you at the beginning who said you already have a business, but you know you're not utilizing social media. Sarah is a great example of how when you already have your existing business, we can just tweak your content a little bit, and that can generate so much more impact and income for you. And this is her handle right there. And she just shared this a couple of days ago, sharing that she made another sale. Anaí is an example of somebody who always wanted to start a podcast, but she was worried that nobody would listen. And she was worried about being judged for sharing her voice. So whenever we use the aligned messaging framework, which is what I help you use whenever you create the aligned content, she got clear on who her message was for and what she wanted to say. And now her podcast is on season 2. People pitch themselves to be guests on it. And she regularly receives DMs from people talking about how much the podcast has impacted their lives. And she's steadily growing her audience. And as soon as she's ready to create her offer, that is totally going to sell. So I'm the last example. I have to show you all, before I implemented this strategy, I'm like embarrassed to show you all this content, but I think it's important for you to see where I started versus like where the content is now. And I'm showing you different iterations of it as well. This is my content back in 2019, 2020.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Okay, nobody's probably reading this, but it says, when he says he likes girls that don't wear makeup, boy, bye. I don't even know where the idea came from. I guess it's kind of funny, but it just, I don't really, it's not doing anything for my personal brand. Yeah, I guess it could kind of be relatable, but the whole boomerang thing, it's like, talk about a millennial stereotype, right? And then here on the right, this is again before implementing this strategy. This was one of my posts. Start the business you've always wanted. And it's like, yeah, maybe if somebody wanted to start a business, maybe they would look at it. But personally, if I was scrolling and I saw this image, I wouldn't give it any attention. I think this one got like 19 likes. So for those of you who maybe already have a business and you're just trying to create content to support your business, this isn't serving me at all. Neither is this, because unless somebody knows exactly who I am in my story, like maybe if you saw this post after this presentation, this would make sense. But if you are just scrolling through the TikTok or Instagram algorithm and you come across this, you are not stopping at all. So now let's take a look at a piece of content I created just a couple of days ago and how different. Oh, by the way, you could all hear that sound, right? Okay, great. Thank you. So now let's take a look at a piece of content after implementing this and take a look at how different it is.
Rich, 8-figure, that's my type. That's my type. That's my...
So why does this one perform better? The beginning says she's always traveling, daddy's money. So like it must be daddy's money. So first, that is a very engaging hook. It's like very visually, it's very visually appealing. There's music with it. And there's still a message here, but I'm also jumping on a trend. And that trend, it typically goes like, how dare you insult my mom like that? Or how dare you insult my fiance like that? Pretty much saying, oh, they're the ones that make the money. But the way I used it was, how dare you insult my business like that? It's okay, we're going to the next one already. How dare you insult my business like that? And what this is doing for me is, one, it's very visible content. It's shareable. It's something that It's following a trend, the way that it's edited. But in the caption, I talk about how because of my personal brand, I was able to travel. And then I invited people to this training. So do you see how that content was very specific with who it's for? I'm still talking about a business, but
I do my head talk.
it's not like this, which has no real context. The other one is visually appealing and it still brings people into my audience based on what I'm looking to do. Third strategy, last but not least, if you're thinking, how in the world do I even make money? This is the strategy that I need you to pay attention to. So this one is called the paid before perfect offer. So you do not need thousands of followers to start making money from your personal brand. You simply need the first offer that lets you help people right away. So, what this can look like is maybe a 60-minute coaching session, a strategy or a consulting session, maybe a focused intensive around a specific transformation. So, this could look like a 60-minute resume review, 60-minute dating coaching session, a 60-minute like premenopause analysis or something like that. And this allows you to start helping people gaining experience and getting paid while you grow your audience rather than waiting until you're at 10,000 followers or waiting until you have more certifications. You can start to monetize and test and do market research right away. And what this does is it grows your confidence, it grows your impact, and it gives you a ton of clarity because we cannot improve something that doesn't exist. So let me give you some examples from clients. Oh, wait, before and after I did this again. So before implementing this strategy, you're going to feel stuck, like you have to wait. You're just stuck waiting. You think that you need more followers before you can sell anything. You're creating content, but maybe not making any money because you don't have anything to sell, anything to offer people, and you don't know what you could offer people. Or your personal brand feels like a hobby instead of a business. And don't get me wrong, the personal brand has to feel fun. If you look at my content examples, the one of me traveling was way funner than the one of just like random photos and saying, start the business you've always wanted. And it was funner for me to make as well. After you implement this strategy, your personal brand really does become a real business. You have a clear first offer that you can sell right away. You can start getting DMs and inquiries from your audience. You can get testimonials, experience, and confidence. And this is probably the most important thing because we can't improve something that doesn't exist, right? So we have to make it exist imperfectly. That's why it's called paid before perfect offer. And then your personal brand can begin to generate income and opportunities. So let's look at some examples. This is my client, Yaz. When I met her, I don't know, she had like under 1,000 followers at least. I just looked at her follower account today. This is after a few things kind of blew up for her, but even I've had clients that have 500 followers or less, and this strategy still works for them. So, Yaz here is a content creator as well as a wellness coach. And when I met her, she knew she wanted to start a business, but she didn't know how she could do that or what it was that she could sell. And after implementing the paid before perfect strategy, we developed a super simple wellness coaching offer. And within 30 days, she had 3 inquiries and a paid client. And now I actually was just talking to her earlier today. She started selling a wellness reset intensive, and that was in such high demand it sold out, and then she opened more spots and it sold out again. So she just told me, she's like, I can't sell it anymore, but it's been in such high demand because it was a 90-minute intensive to like really dip your toes into working with her, and now we're upgrading her to a bigger offer. But that is a good example. She still has a full-time job. She works in nonprofit, and she is killing it with her business though. So we'll see what happens. And then the other example I have is Kay. Her Instagram is It's Coach Kay. And when I met Kay, she had a goal of of starting a business, of doing her own things, of doing her own thing and starting an LLC. And she knew she wanted to take on one-on-one clients for kickboxing, but she was like, I can't do it until I have another certification. I had been to her classes. I was like, you do not need any more certifications. You need to start. But of course, we get in our own way, right? Like I delayed starting for 2 years. So I can say this now as a coach. I get it though. I get how scary it is. We're afraid of being seen. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of not being perfect enough. We're afraid of trying and then have it not work out. All the things. So after she implemented the pay before perfect strategy, she accepted clients for her private coaching for kickboxing. And when she launched, she sold out of sessions. It had to be less than 90 days. I did within 90 days, but I'm pretty sure it was way less than that because what ended up happening, she sold so many, we ended up having to turn it into like a small group setting because she literally didn't have the time to help that many people. And she ended up adding, I don't know, at least like $1,200 more a month or something like that to what she was already generating with her. She was already making money through her job, but this was extra income. So, again, to recap, you want to manifest a personal brand. You think that in order to do that, you need 10,000 followers so that you can then monetize that brand. But what I'm telling you is that you need to monetize your personal brand on your journey to 10,000. And that is the fastest way to manifest followers and income because you are creating content. You are going to do this through creating content, building your personal brand, and how in the world do you do that? Using the three strategies that supported me, but also many of my clients as well. And that is the purpose and profitable niche, the creating aligned content, as well as paid before perfect offer. So you might be thinking, is it possible for me to do this? Can I actually create a personal brand that I can monetize? Can it be profitable? And the answer is yes, you definitely can. And I teach you how to do this inside of my program, Courage Driven Latina. So you may be looking at this and saying, okay, like, do I have to be Latina? Kay is a perfect example. She's not Latina. I've had people who are of all different backgrounds inside of this program. I will say there is a little cultural component in there that if you are, I don't know, either a child of immigrants or maybe your parents are of a different generation, then it does have that cultural component. So, and I think some of my clients that are here can attest to that. But what in the world is Courage Driven Latina? So it is a place where ambitious women learn how to turn their skill. Great, thank you, Katia. Learn how to turn their skill, passion, or lived experience into a personal brand that creates income and impact in 90 days. So inside, not only do I have live trainings coming up within the next few weeks, but you are going to learn to clarify your niche, create content that attracts the right audience, as well as launch your paid before perfect offer, and you get support for 12 months. I did tell you all that I was going to let you know when the training part is over. So we have now concluded the training part, and now I'm going to tell you all about this program where you can learn how to do in more depth what I have just shared with you all. So I've been running this program for 6 years. So it's not like I kind of just made it up and let's see how it works. No, this is a program that has real results and proven frameworks from hundreds of women that have been through it. What usually takes 12 months, you can get done in 12 weeks or within 90 days inside of this program. And the reason is because of the format. I have a whole project management section in there to support you with reaching your goals. But also I have the trainings on supporting you with clarifying your niche, on creating aligned content, as well as the paid before perfect offer. I was like, don't say it backwards, Erica. It's paid before perfect, not perfect before paid. That would not work the other way around. So if you would like to learn more, and as well as enroll, my team has just put the link inside of the chat. I'm going to tell you more about the program and what's inside, as well as answer any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat right now. But here is what you can expect within the first 30 days of being in this program. You're going to go from overthinking what your personal brand should be to having a clear niche that's built from your skill, your passion, or your lived experience. You're going to go from doubting whether anybody would care about what you have to say to creating aligned content that attracts the right audience. You'll go from wanting to create content or starting a podcast, but never actually starting, maybe just like having a bunch of notes in your journal or in your notes app, to actually posting consistently and sharing your voice. You're going to go from being worried about what coworkers, friends, or families might think or say about you to feeling confident showing up because you know who you help and how you're helping them, that it supports you in overcoming those other fears. You're going to go from having a lot of ideas, but no real clear direction or path, to knowing you're paid before perfect offer and starting to make money without delaying, without waiting for those 10,000 followers, as well as changing lives. Darla says, do you have any suggestions with the tech? I mean, can we start even with a phone? Funny you say that, Darla. So one of the common things that happens is people are like, I want to start a podcast or I want to create content. And one of the first things they do is they go buy a camera or they go buy a microphone or they go get all this equipment. I have a strategy. It's actually called the Ghetto First Draft inside of Courage Driven Latina. So the Ghetto First Draft says, you got to make it the cheapest, fastest way to simply test the idea. And I, to this day, use my phone to record my podcast because the back camera on your phone, assuming you have somewhat of a newer phone, it records in 4K. My phone is always with me. I travel so much. It's me and this tiny little tripod that I carry around with me. And that is my equipment. That's the extent of my equipment. When I travel, I don't even bring my microphone with me. I just use the wired headphones for Apple. Like super simple. So yeah, thank you for asking that question. You can totally start with the phone. I have purchased cameras and I never end up using them. So definitely start with what you have. I think it's not even so much about like what equipment do you need. The biggest thing is having the right guidance and structure to get started and just starting with what you have. And then let's say that you're creating super consistent content and you're like, okay, I want better quality now, then invest in a camera. But if you invest in a camera now and then you don't take any action, then you just end up in this shame cycle. Like, damn, I spent this money and I'm not even doing the thing I said I wanted to do. So yeah, thank you so much for the question. So what is inside of Courage Driven Latina? I have a whole library of trainings and support. As I mentioned, there's even like a project management thing in there, but let me take you through the main things that I think are important for you and how this is going to support you. So obviously the program is called Courage Driven, right? Courage Driven Latina is where you really learn to be courageous because showing up, being seen, putting yourself out there requires so much courage. So the first part is all about learning the skill of courage and how you build it. I also have a tool. It's called the Mindset Mija tool, which helps you stop self-sabotaging. And that way you don't let self-doubt run the show. Anytime you get in your head, you go to this tool. Obviously, I'm there to support you as well, but what I find with my clients, we tend to be overthinkers. I am as well. So sometimes we need a tool that we can just easily access to help us overcome the different struggles that we might find ourselves in, or if we're talking ourselves out of something, or if we're trying to play small. So that's the first thing. And then we've got the purpose-led profitable niche. So you are going to find clarity on your personal brand in under 20 minutes with my Manifest Your Marca experience, which Gabby, who's on the call, sent me a message and was like, holy smokes, this works so well. The bot made me cry. And it's all about helping you find clarity on your personal brand. And of course, you have my help as well. And then I also have, I wouldn't name this manifestation if there wasn't some type of woo-woo stuff in here. So I have a lot of guided visualizations and meditations to also help ground your nervous system and help you find clarity as well. I support you with creating aligned content using my aligned messaging framework. And my aligned messaging framework is a training I'm working on. I'm actually going to do it live for whoever joins this round. And I find that live coaching is some of the best coaching that you can get, because what happens is you're not just watching these pre-recorded videos, like you're seeing me in real time the way you're seeing me right now. You can ask questions. I can take you through the framework. We can use you as an example. I can give you feedback. We can do audits. And I haven't done like live training in this program in about 2.5 years. And I'm so excited because I'm revamping the whole thing. So this is a completely new training than what I've done in the past, because the actual trainings inside the program are also evolving. So this group gets to get first dibs as I teach them live. And then when we also do this aligned messaging framework, I'm going to have 7 done for you content prompts to get you started. It's kind of like what we just saw with Eileen, the link I shared in the chat. So it's not even that idea of what in the world do I post? Don't worry, because I'm going to have it for you. I'm going to have the first 7 posts done for you so that you get started. And that way you build the confidence of showing up. You see that you didn't die, right? You posted something and you didn't die. And, nobody came to troll you and you are actually pretty safe. And then I also have something called the content idea generator. So this is something that's custom built by me using my frameworks to help you with content ideas so you never run out of ideas as well. And you get immediate access to that whenever you join us. You also stay on track with the project plan, as I mentioned. There's a project plan in here. I help you pick the plan. If you've never posted anything marketing related or building your brand related, then that's the first focus. If you've already started posting and now you're like, I'm ready to make money, then your plan becomes making money. Whenever you submit your plan, I'll review it and then I'll give you feedback within 72 hours. And there's a step by step as well. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to have live training. So, we're going to have a 3-day live training where you're going to learn brand new concepts that I'm teaching live. And you also get to ask your questions. I can audit your profiles, and it's really hands-on support. And the live trainings are always so fun. I do record them, so you'll have access to the replays after. But that is why I didn't include all of the existing curriculum. Gabby said, I just want to share that I did the 90-minute personal branding intensive. I was nervous to show up or to say the wrong thing or to show up too raw and vulnerable. Yep, normal. She supported me with coming up with 2 complimentary coaching calls, and those calls allowed for me to confidently share how I support leaders. And just last week, yep. So, Gabby, I even have your win in here too. But I'm going to support you all with exactly what you should be selling. So, pretty much anything I covered today is going to be taught live if I don't already have the training. But then I'm also going to ensure each and every single one of you knows what your offer is, knows what your niche is, knows what kind of content you will be creating. There's another little bonus in here. A lot of my clients expressed interest in starting a podcast, and my podcast has personally transformed my life and business. So I added a podcast course inside of here that you get completely free. Launch your podcast in 90 days. This is something that is sold for over $1,000 outside of my program. I had my podcast producer create it, and here are some of the amazing projects that have already been launched. And you get immediate access to that inside of the program as well. So this program is a 12-month program. So you can do so many things. You can grow your personal brand, monetize your personal brand, then launch a podcast, then launch another offer. I mean, you really get support over an entire year. And I'm going to get to Gabby's comment in just one second. And Darla, I do see your question. Feel free if you are all, for all of you who are listening, if you want to ask a question, feel free to put it in the chat and I will get to you. So what is it that you get? You get weekly live coaching calls. So every week on Tuesday evenings, I'm on the calls. Unless I'm traveling, then I'll bring in an amazing guest expert for you all. But that doesn't happen very often because I know that Tuesdays are my coaching days. And then we also get monthly coaching calls. So you never worry, what in the world do I post? You get access to all of the trainings as well as the custom AI bots and support. You get access to in-person events. There's also chat support in between the weekly calls. And then you get worksheets which help you with each step of the curriculum. And then you get immediate access to the portal. And we also have a private podcast. And the private podcast is for anytime that you might be traveling or unable to join a call. We put all of the calls onto the private podcast. And the value of this is honestly over 8,000 if we add on the podcast course as well. But the investment, if you join us today, is $2,222 if you pay in full. And we do have payment options available as well. So if you know that you want to join us, sign up right now at couragedrivenlatina.com, or you can schedule a call if you're like, wait, I still have questions. I will also stay on to answer any questions. But here's what you'll see. Whenever you go to couragedrivenlatina.com, you want to select enroll now, and then you'll see the payment options. And then whenever you go to it, there is one additional payment option. I was offering it last round and I was going to remove it. But I was like, okay, I want to make this like as accessible as possible. So the other option, you can do the 5 monthly payments of $444 or 10 monthly payments of $222. $222. So you can get started with as little as $222. This is what the payment screen looks like, and then you'll get a little notification that says, yay, you're in, and you'll be emailed access to the program. But of course, I had to do a bonus. So we have a limited time bonus, and that bonus is get my best-selling one-on-one personal branding call, which I sell typically for $999, and you'll get it completely free. So this is what Gabby was just talking about. She did this with me last month, right before I went off on vacation. And while I was on vacation, she was sharing all of her wins with me. But in this session, I'll support you personally, one-on-one, without anybody else, on your personal brand positioning, your content direction, as well as your first offer. And are you okay with me saying this is you, Gabby? Because I kind of just said it. Okay. So she was just sending me her wins, how she had already gotten some coaching clients and has gotten a lot of leaders that are reaching out to her and some engagement, just absolutely killing it. So I do have to limit this because this intensive does take up a lot of my time. I prep for it, then I spend the time with you, then I follow up with you. So I do limit that to the first 10 people. So if you know you want to secure this bonus, do not wait. Take action right now on it. And because that bonus will sell out. So again, as a reminder, this is everything you get inside of the program. You get the weekly live coaching calls, the monthly content calls, training, AI support, access to in-person events, chat support, the worksheets, and the private podcast, as well as the podcast course on how to launch your own podcast. And again, the investment is all twos, so 2,222 or payments. And remember, I do have the extended payments. The program, Evelyn, is 12 months. So you get a whole year access. So I'd work with you from March 2026 to March 2027. So a lot of time for you to monetize, for you to make any changes or pivots, as well as maybe even launching your podcast if that's something that you want to do. Yeah. So don't wait. I know it can be really easy to be like, oh, I'm going to think about it, but I have an act now bonus because I know I can be this way too. I wait till the last minute, and the people who don't wait are rewarded, let me tell you. So the act now bonus is that if you sign up before this training or schedule your call and join us, then I'll give you an additional private personal branding call. So you'll get the intensive, but you'll also get an additional personal branding call. I did this for the first time last time, and it was so good because people got more one-on-one time. But again, because the one-on-one time is, I can't give everybody one-on-one time. And trust me, the program in itself is great, but I do have to limit it to the first 5 people. So if you're like, damn, I've been waiting for her to open enrollment for this program, or I know I want to join, I highly suggest joining us while we're on this call, while we're on the training. And we'll know how to honor it based on the timestamp that came through. So just wanted to reward the people who are like, I know that I'm here to take this seriously. Again, you're going to have the 3 live training with me, which is brand new concepts, trained live with me, and you'll get to ask your questions. I can audit your profile, give you direct feedback. So I do have some frequently asked questions. Hold on, I missed somebody's question. I just realized, Darla. Question about the niche part. I'm passionate about multiple things, being like a stay-at-home mom, daily life, PCOS management, makeup. Should I just pick one? Is it okay to start with everything at first? So Darla, what I would support you with is, we want to know, like, who do you want to help and how do you want to help them? And then all these other things get to add to it. And what I mean is, so I would say, like, you really get to be the niche. So for you, I would say, who were you just a few years ago, maybe before you learned to manage your PCOS symptoms? Who were you whenever maybe like daily life of a stay-at-home mom was freaking chaotic for you, right? So like, what maybe your niche is supporting women in their 30s or women in their 40s in having a more balanced and fulfilled life. Like maybe that's kind of what your niche is. And I'm being really general right now for this example. And then that can turn into maybe like day in the life vlogs where you are picking things up, but you're also just sharing how you went from being like super stressed out to finding rhythm, or like hacks or tips or things like that, or what you wish somebody would have told you whenever you became a stay-at-home mom, or before you knew how to manage your PCOS symptoms, like what were some of the mistakes that you were making. So I actually think you can bring all these things into your content. It's all about having a niche that grounds everything. So for me, my whole thing is supporting women and owning their power. And part of the way I do that is through building a personal brand, making your own money. But I also will share when I travel, when I go to kickboxing. And these are all just kind of things I get to share. So I would say, as we think about the niche, remember there's the skill, there's the passion, and there's the lived experience. You could share all of that, something in all of that, and that can be your kind of content categories. So yeah, you don't it's whenever you're just randomly saying different things, we just have to funnel it around one message, and I'll support you with that. And I think for you it's going to be around finding peace and fulfillment as a woman in like whatever age range you are. Let me know if that makes sense. I have some here that I get asked every time. What if I miss a meeting? If you miss a meeting, don't worry. It's a year long. That's literally why we made it a year long. Because if you go on vacation, I don't want you to have to worry about joining a call. And that is why we also have a private podcast where we upload all of the recordings. So that way you can, if you're on your way to work, you can listen to what we talked about. Then, what else do we have? We also have Slack coaching. So you can ask me for coaching inside of an app called Slack where you just message. So if you can't make a live meeting, but you still need coaching, I can still support you in that way. You may be asking, okay, does this work for me if I already have a business? Yeah. So Sarah's a great example, who's the podcast, my podcast producer, who's the one that I shared as an example. She already had a business. And whenever we started working together, she made $3,500 with just adjusting her content and a little bit in her business. So I have a lot of people in the program who already had businesses, but maybe they weren't marketing it in a way that they wanted, or maybe they knew they were kind of just not really showing up fully for it. And then, does this work for me if I don't know what business I want to start? Yeah, so Yaz is a perfect example. She's the one that is the yoga instructor and started doing wellness coaching. At the beginning, she had no idea. She's like, I have too many interests. Like, I like all these different things, but we were able to funnel all of them in through wellness. So I want to remind you of the bonuses. I've gotten the question, well, what if I pay in full? So we do have a pay in full bonus. A few people took advantage of it the last time. Actually, a handful of people took advantage of it the last time. And you get 2 weeks of one-on-one support from me through Voxer, which is kind of like a WhatsApp where we can voice note back and forth, or we can message one another. And you can chat or voice note me for guidance. I've sold this on its own for $2,000. But if you do join us and you pay in full, then we will hook you up with this bonus, because it really is a great bonus. It's almost like having me in your back pocket. Of course, if you message me at 3 a.m., please give me until like 8 a.m. to respond, but I do get back to you. And then I want to remind you of the 48-hour bonus, which ends on the 11th. So you will get my best-selling one-on-one personal branding call, which I sell for $999, and you'll get it completely free in this. Honestly, that bonus alone is worth joining. Like, if you were to join just for that bonus and then just get the extended support for the year, totally worth it. So in this session, I will help you in a one-to-one basis with your personal brand positioning, your content direction. I had Eileen go through it as well, and we came up with content ideas for her. Eileen, who's on the call, but she's also my client. And you'll leave with a ton of clarity, as well as content, specific content for you. Sounds good, Gabby. Thank you for joining. And then remember, you get the weekly live coaching calls, the one content call per month. Okay, if you don't have a lot of time, let's say that you work full time and you're a mom, it doesn't take a long time to start to see results. Even with the getting clarity on your personal brand, 20 minutes or less, and you'll have so much clarity. You'll even have content ideas and different things like that. If you do not know what to post, yes, I will help with that. I have a whole content idea generator that supports you with that, but you also get me on the weekly live calls. You also will gain a ton of clarity once we figure out what your niche is. And if you fear being seen, will this program help with this? Totally. I have a whole system that supports you with the fear of being seen, with mindset, with overcoming self-doubt. We're humans first, right? Like this is a vulnerable thing to put ourselves out there. I completely understand that. I was overthinking starting a personal brand for 2 years before I actually got started. So of course it is something that I will support you with. And hold on, somebody joined. Who here joined? Because you get all of the bonuses or the two bonuses, the Act Now bonus as well as the other one. Oh my gosh, Kelsey! No way! Hi! I just saw, oh, I should have known because of your last name. Yay! Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to support you. You're like gonna kill it. Because I already know you personally. So, for those of you who do not know Kelsey, which I think is most of you here, she planned the entire trip that I went on. I was just on a cruise and she handled everything. So, I cannot wait to support you because people love traveling. I actually have one client who started hosting her business is called Travel Amiga, I think. I'm gonna have to find it, but she does these group traveling events, and that's something for you to consider too. Like that could be another offer that you have. Okay, so yeah, what if you don't know what to post? What if you fear being seen? Yep, all the different things. Whoops. And again, the Act Now bonus. So if you sign up before I close this training, I will give you that additional private personal branding call. Will this work for me if I'm just getting started? Definitely. And will this work for me if I'm older? I get this question a lot. And honestly, I find that my more wise clients, anybody who's like over the age of 40, does so well in this program because they're like, I don't care what people think about me. Like they just take action so much faster. So my client Rebecca, who I don't think I introduced her in this training, but she absolutely kills it. And then if you've tried other programs but didn't see the results you were looking for, how do you know that this one will work? I highly recommend even reaching out to people who are already in the program and talk to them about their experience in it, figure out like if this training resonated with you, then you're going to get what you're looking for from this program. All right, so let me do a quick check because I'm just like talking at you all, and I know a lot of people had to drop. So let me just go over like who this is not for. This is not for you if you want to have a if you want to have a faceless account, or you would just want to make quick money and you don't really care about making an impact, or maybe you've never used social media in your life and you don't ever want to use it, or you don't want to be pushed to like grow a little bit more. I'm a nice coach, but I'm also a coach that's going to hold you accountable and be like, let's do this. You can do more than that. So it can feel uncomfortable, but it's always very rewarding at the end. So I think that's it. I think my next one was, yeah, how do you justify it to your partner? So couragedrivenlatina.com to sign up. How do you justify this to your partner? Many different ways. This is a business expense, so you can write this off. You can write this off also as an educational expense, as well as even just asking your partner for support. Like, hey, this is something I've been wanting to do, and I'm not asking for I'm just asking for your support here. And what I have found, I've had so many partners tell me that I've met in person. Thank you so much for helping my wife, my girlfriend, my partner, and doing the things she wanted to do because they are probably the ones that keep hearing you talk about this thing you want to do. And now this program, you're going to be surrounded by other women who are also taking action to do this. And that is how I would justify that to your partner. If you're in another program, still join. It's going to help you with, unless you're in a specific program that's doing exactly what this one's doing, it's only going to help. And then you get live coaching. You also get support through chat. As far as this one here, is it a course? Is it a live coaching? How do we get support? Oh, thank you both for staying on. I appreciate you. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions?
I mean, I'm just really excited to start.
I'm so excited too. I'm
Yeah,
going to send you a bunch of things. I'm like, start here, here, here.
Yes, I have so many ideas and so many things, and I'm excited.
She needs the push and the help.
I'm excited because I've seen your work already. So I can't wait. Yay.
Me too.
Well, thank you all for staying for the whole thing too. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for
All
doing
right.
this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I know you two have to get to work, so if you have to drop, no worries at all.
I don't know. It's about that time.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank
All
you.
right,
We'll
thank
chat
you.
soon.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Thank you. This is Liza. I was
Hi.
half in, half out with I have 4 kids, so I'm just trying to take as much as I can while being a mom over here. So I just appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, of course. I totally hear you with the multitasking, so I appreciate you being here.
I just wanted to say thank you very much. I feel like I'm in the process of, so I have like a online business, and then I also am a therapist, and so trying to join kind of like those two things together. And so I think
Mhm.
just overall, it's just really encouraging to be able to see some of the things that how I could kind of like implement some of the some of the things that you were sharing, and just like it really did resonate. I think now the next plan is trying to figure out like timing. Um, but I know that that's one of the things that you said of just being able to take action and being able to just move forward. So
Yeah, so I'm curious, are you looking to, do you want to start your own private practice, or are you like, what's the business and does it have anything to do with therapy?
no, so it's a network marketing business, so it's
Got
more
it.
like dealing with like non-consumable like products and things like that. Um,
Okay.
but then also trying to do more. I think overall what drew me here was the brand, like creating a
Hmm.
brand, because I don't
Yeah.
really use social media like very often to post things.
Hmm.
So learning a little bit more of that and trying to figure out more of a voice.
Totally.
And that's
Yeah.
what
And
it's
that's
at.
going to help you in building your brand. So I've had a few people in the program that do network marketing,
Mhm.
and visibility is like a huge thing for you, right? Or even just being able to reach a network outside of your immediate circle is huge. So this definitely would be something that can support you with showing up, with putting yourself out there, with making more sales, with expanding your reach. Maybe I don't know if you have to like grow your team and things like that, but even doing that kind of stuff and understanding how content can work for you, and maybe even lead to other ways of also creating revenue, whether that's things like brand deals, or which is something like I don't recommend at the beginning, right? It's really about like first we build the brand, then we monetize the brand, then we like find other ways to monetize the brand.
No, I find that helpful. It's definitely something I'm interested in.
Great. Well, let me know if I can answer any other questions, or if like any, if you're like, I want to join, but, and then like whatever comes after the but, let me know. I can help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually do have a question. This is
Sure.
Liza again.
Hi,
So
Liza. I'm sorry, I
hi,
totally
how are you
mispronounced your
doing?
name.
It's okay. So I've been in entrepreneurship. So I was an engineer for 10 plus years in the Bay Area, actually, and worked in that for the 10 years, transitioned over into entrepreneurship alongside
Hmm.
my husband in a network marketing business platform as well.
Okay.
I've been doing that for 15 years now. And so I'm now in a season where that business is doing it's doing great, but I just don't feel like I think I'm being called for something else.
Hmm.
And so now that the kids are a little bit older, we have 4 kids and the youngest one is 2, but I want to transition over into this personal brand. So within those 15 years, my biggest passion has always been helping people start the personal development process, like start
Hmm.
personally developing, start that journey. And maybe it's just me. I have I feel a certain way about like programs that charge, thousands and thousands of dollars to go to a personal development workshop or whatever.
Hmm.
And although yes, there could be transformation, I just think it's like a process, right? It's a process. So for me, my mission is providing personal development, like a personal development coach, have that be accessible to everyone. And so how
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm kind of like in the middle of like, how do I monetize it? Obviously, it'd be nice, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really like need the income, but I as a business person, like I think I want to evolve, and I want to know how I can be a good business person in this new space that I am just tapping into.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. And here's the thing with like the beauty of building your personal brand is that through your personal brand, you're already going to be giving so much transformation and you're like so much value through your content. And all of that's free, right? You're not charging for people to consume your content. Once people now want to work with you, so like with your paid before perfect offer, that is where people can pay you, but they opt into that. So once people
Okay.
want more, and this is how I think about it, or what I tell my clients, whether you're creating on Instagram or TikTok, all of that gets to be free for people and you get to give as much value as you want. But now
Hmm.
when you're changing, you're giving them your individual time, you
Yeah.
also have a family to provide for. You also, and the thing is, like, people, when people pay money, they pay attention. So if
Right.
you don't charge them at all for it, you're going to get people who miss meetings, people who reschedule, all of that different stuff. So we could even talk about, like, okay, maybe you even create like a free podcast, right? Where you do like bi-weekly episodes that are completely free for people. But then guess
Hmm.
what? If they want to work with you one-on-one, then they work with you on like your intensive or your 60-minute coaching call or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, like I missed but maybe I could just reach out to you directly and see if we could do like a one-on-one and get more clarity.
Yeah, and we're sending out the replay, but yeah, you can reach out to me and we can talk offline as well.
Okay. Thank you, Erica.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
of
doing
course.
this.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Hi, Mimi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you so much for this free training.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I'm sure it provided value to everyone else as well on the call. Um, Very quickly, I'm not a coach and I'm not looking to start a coaching business, at least not at this point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, things are a little bit trickier because it's not just about like one main product that we're necessarily trying to get out at any given time. There's a lot of things in the mix that we kind of have to do at all times, whether that's performing and sourcing new gigs, whether that's like networking and meeting like other musicians that we could potentially be collaborating with in the future, whether
Yeah.
that's like working on an album, which is the situation I'm currently in. Like I already recorded the album, but there's like so many steps that I need to take. And like thinking even farther into the future of like working on like collaborating with like bigger companies, whether that's for like movies or, like a musician's life can go many different directions at all times.
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah.
branding is like a really big deal in all this. And so is obviously content. I was just curious, like in the program, like the one that you're offering, have you worked with musicians before? And yeah, like they're really kind of creative type people. And
So
if you,
I've worked with,
just curious.
yeah, I've worked with somebody who does spoken word. So not necessarily music, but performative in some way. And I agree with you that building your brand is only going to help you because you never know where that can lead, right? That's where collaborations can come from, or maybe even like brand deals. So I totally hear you with like the paid before perfect offer may not be the perfect thing or might not be the ideal offer for you. But what I can see for you is even like a series on like behind the scenes of releasing an album. And you could even do like, I know you said you don't really want to do coaching, but if you needed to offer something, it could even be like helping other musicians with the things that you learned, right? Or maybe even like a little digital course on like, okay, here's all the mistakes I made when releasing an album and what I wish I would have done differently, or like what I wish somebody would have told me, like a $50 course or a $100 course or something like that. But regardless of the offer stuff, what I will say is building of the building of your brand and showing up consistently, we don't even know where that can lead, right? That can be the big break. Like you never know who's looking at your content. My content, it has allowed me to work with Harvard, with be on the front page of the New York Times, like all these things I couldn't have even manifested, or I couldn't have added them to my vision board because I didn't even think about them. So regardless of what the offer is, the building of the brand for you for sure should happen. And then if you wanted to do an offer like what I mentioned, you can, but I think just the brand will lead you to your next thing anyways.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you saying this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'll think about it. And like you said, you're sending a replay of all this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I think I need to maybe watch the replay again and like see how this can fit into where I'm at this point. But yeah. In case you're wondering where else you could possibly expand, helping musicians is definitely something that not a lot of people are doing.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, especially because for you all, it's all like, yeah, anything very artistic, right? Or like acting, and it's like you depend on the gigs or you depend on opportunities, and it's, yeah, yeah, I totally hear
Hmm.
you.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mimi. All right. Well, we will send out the replay one more time. Join us inside of Courage Driven Latina so that you can get the fast action bonus, so that you can get the personal branding intensive as well. Adding that link here one more time in the chat. If you have any additional questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram at the Erica Cruz. That's Erica with a K. Thank you all so much for spending some time with me. If you took anything away from this training and you want to share it with me, feel free to send it in a DM. Thank you so much for joining me for this training. If this training resonated with you, then I invite you to join us inside of Courage Driven Latina. The doors do close next week on Wednesday, the 18th. So if you are interested in joining us, do not wait. If you have questions, if you want to talk to me, you can schedule your call. So do that right now. Or if you know that you want to join us, then secure your spot. You can either choose the monthly payment options or the pay in full. And if you do pay in full, you get that extra bonus, the 2 weeks of one-on-one coaching with me. I cannot wait to work with you. I can't wait to support you in building your brand. This really is what is going to help you get the freedom you're looking for, the time freedom, the money freedom, as well as the fulfillment and impact you are looking for. I can't wait to work with you. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure to visit theericacruz.com. That's Erica with a K, where you can subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode. You can help this podcast grow by supporting me with an Apple Podcast rate and review. If you took anything away from this episode, I invite you to take a screenshot and share it on social media so that your favorite badass Latinas can also check it out. Be sure to tag me at the Erica Cruz. That's Erica with a K, because you know I want to see it. If you're ready to join the revolution and be a part of the Courage Driven Latina community, visit couragedrivenlatina.com to get more information and join the waitlist. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.